Good morning. Thank you for joining our ISPO orientation. Today's session is on graduate student academic support, and we have incredible and wonderful speakers here joining us today. I will do introductions quickly in a little bit, but we're gonna get started and we'll have some intro slides followed by our guest speakers, and then we will have some outro slides afterwards. And so before we begin, just wanted to let you know that we are doing the recording, and that once that we're finished recording, you will be able to view this webinar recording on the iWebinars at .ucsd.edu. And because we're in a webinar format, feel free to drop in questions at any time. And also that you can contact us at icontact@ucsd.edu, and we will try our best to answer the questions in the session. And if we do not, then we can also kind of address the questions in the email afterwards. Right now, you're only in listen only mode, so you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. So feel free to use the chat. Yep. So guys, this is our session today for graduate student academic support. And we have our wonderful, lovely, incredibly talented, amazing speakers today. And I'm going to introduce them very quickly. So we have Tim Chu from the library, our first year experienced librarian. And then we also have Minju Kim and Apanish Noor. Please let me know if I'm not saying your name properly. They are from the Engage Teaching Hub at the Teaching and Learning Commons. I have taken sessions as I'm an international graduate student. My name is Janet said, sorry, I just did an introduction at the very beginning. And I have sat in sessions with Minju, and so I can say that there are incredible people at the Teaching and Learning Commons, and they will also speak about what they can provide in terms of support. And then we have class manager, class, if I'm saying your name properly, please let me know. And they are from the Education Coordinator Academic Integrity Office. So with that quick introduction, I will, oh, did I go, oops. Go back. Sorry, this is just orientation fun. So I will pass it on to Timothy with welcome to the library. And whenever you need me to say next slide, just say next, and then I will go to the next slide.
Sounds good. Thank you, Janet. Hi, everybody. So my name's Tim. I am from the library here. I'm the first year experienced librarian. And we wanted to talk a little bit about what the library offers you as graduate students, and especially international graduate students. First off, the library, Geisel Library is our main library building, right? It's the big spaceship building on campus, and actually the Teaching and Learning Commons, which Minju and Avanish are located in Geisel Library in the bottom floor. So you might spend a lot of time in Geisel. It is currently under construction. We're doing some renovation to the second floor, and we're hoping to finish up like this week. I think our move-in date is on Friday and going through the weekend. So if you are not in San Diego now and you're coming in this weekend, be aware that, yeah, Geisel should be fully open with brand new spaces. That's pretty exciting. If you are currently here in San Diego, the building is open, and there are clear signage to help you navigate. All of the partitions have been taken down, so you can see all of the new spaces. We're just finishing up some painting and moving some equipment still. So we're very excited about that, but just be aware that that's the case. So the main thing here is the library website, library.ucsd.edu. We know that this library is a big place. We know it can be kind of intimidating. We know that there's a lot going on in there, right? We have millions of books in Geisel Library. There are thousands of journals we subscribe to, hundreds of databases you could search. So we know that there's a lot going on. So we have some links on the screen to help you kind of break it apart. The important thing to know is that for online access, you're going to need to be on the UCSD protected network if you are on campus. The guest network or EduRoam does not work. So you need to be on the protected network, or in the resident halls, the protected network as well, the apartments and things like that. If you are off campus, you need to use the VPN. So there's a link on screen there for remote access. You're going to need to download and install the VPN. And if you are off campus at Phil's Coffee or off campus housing, you are going to need to install that and then launch that every time. So be aware that that's kind of a tricky thing that people have issues with. Your library account is now attached. This is a new thing, is now attached to your Active Directory login, so you don't need to worry so much about that. That's where you renew items and are able to make requests for scannings and interlibrary loan requests. So that is something that you don't need to worry about. The important one in the where and how do I look for sources is UC Library Search. So UC Library Search is our new system-wide catalog. So this searches all 10 UC campuses, not just UC San Diego now. And you can easily make requests if an item is located at Berkeley or at UCLA. We can have it be sent to this campus free of charge. So there's buttons on there saying request. That's all you need to do. We can also digitize some materials for you. So if we have a print copy in the library and you only want a chapter of that, we can easily scan that, and there's a digitization button there. The other important one for you is research guides for your discipline, ucsd.libguides.com. That is where we've broken up the library into smaller pieces. So we have guides for every area taught on campus, and they're good tools. They pull out the relevant databases and the relevant resources available for you. So that is a good tool for you as well. So yeah, if you're an economics major, you want the business databases, you want that type of material. You don't need the chemistry databases, right? So it kind of makes it more specialized for your area studies. And then the last link on the screen, ucsd.libanswers.com, is where you can get help from us. So as part of this new renovation in Geisel, there is a research assistance desk in the service hub that should be open on Monday, Monday the 19th. So if you need help access materials, you need help kind of navigating something, feel free to stop by there. That desk is going to be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday. Outside of those hours, at that link on the screen, ucsd.libanswers.com, we have a 24/7 chat that you can use to get assistance. You're not going to get somebody from UC San Diego at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, but you'll get somebody who can help you. So that is a good tool for you to use as well. If you need help, finding sources, you need help accessing materials, that's a good tool for you. So can we go on to the next slide, please? And then these are specialty resources for graduate students. So the first one I wanted to highlight is our consultation spaces. We do have cubicles available in the library for you to reserve if you are TA. So as a grad student, yeah, you do have access to those. You can reserve them for the whole quarter. You can use those as your office hour space. We also have a research data and curation program that'll help you manage your data if you're doing that type of work. And then the data and GIS lab that will help you kind of find data sets if you need that. Scholarly communications is another area that's that you might want to be aware of as graduate students. We are big pushers of open access and trying to make materials available without agreeing to certain parameters around open access. So that is something that you should think about as well. So that guide is valuable. And then finally, support for teaching. So if you are doing a TA, or if you are teaching a course, you are being a TA, and you want the librarian to come in to help your students learn how to use the library resources, learn how to think about research questions, learn how to just navigate the information landscape on campus, feel free to do that, because we are very, we really enjoy doing that type of work. So yeah, support for teaching is another one that we do a lot. All right, so that is my 2 slides here quickly. So I'm going to pass it along to the Engage Teaching Hub.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. So hi, everyone. I am Minju Kim from UC San Diego Teaching and Learning Commons. I'm in the Engage Teaching Hub. But first, I'll start with the Writing Hub. So, thank you for seeing the slide. So today, we'll be talking about what we do for students, especially for graduate students whose life is really filled with writing in a very exciting way, but also sometimes we might feel lost as international students. So Jen, if you could animate the slide, please. Thank you so much. So I will first tell you about what we do as academic writers. So we not only help writing, but we help writers. And I'm sorry, I had so many animations for this slide, so please feel free to show everything. So what we really care about is not just having a good paper with like perfect writing, but what we care about is helping writers process how to write and also be happy with their writing as well. So what we try to do is we build networks of support around writing, and we also help you cultivate the sense of agency and self-efficacy. So, thanks, Janet. Please animate the slides, everything. Thank you. Okay, so what we do is we not only provide like one-to-one consultations, but we also help everyone build networks of support. That means that we have writing groups, so you'll get to meet your fellow graduate students who are actually interested in writing and who are going through the same stages of writing. Like, how do I have this awesome thought, but how do I actually articulate it into writing? And how do I really communicate with this with my peers and also people that I will be working with in this area of academia? Awesome. Thanks for sharing the link in the chat. So you can go to the writinghub.ucsd.edu, and here are also links for consultations. So now let me tell you about what we actually offer as sessions that you can take. So if we could go to the next series of animations, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm happy to talk more about one-to-one consultations in the Q&A sessions, but this is basically your time, your 30-minute or your 60-minute that you will talk to a person one-to-one, and they will go through the draft that you have together and then give you feedback. So there are some things that we offer. There are some, we're not like the proofreaders, but we really help you with like processing how to write and how to write clearly and how to deliver your ideas in the exact way that you want to deliver. So for one-to-one consultations, I've just dropped the link in the chat, and you can schedule online consultations. And for graduate students, we recommend 60-minute sessions. And if you ever have to TA for a class, you can also let your undergraduate students that there are 30-minute sessions that they can attend also by applying in the same webpage in the link. We also have daily virtual writing room. This was really helpful for me as a graduate student during pandemic. It's like a virtual writing room. You enter the room. Sometimes we share the goals. Oh, I want to finish this one paragraph in introduction, and we share some goals. And then we really just have someone on the screen and just write together. And it is surprisingly motivating. If we've all been like staying at home, and sometimes it's not as motivating to feel like we're at a working space, but really it helps a lot as a graduate student, not just in pandemic, but also in in-person days. We also have a series of exciting workshops. So grad writing retreats is a session where you meet weekly or like every once a week to actually sit together and have a short talk by the grad writing consultant about how to start writing and how to face yourself when you feel like repulsive to writing, when you have other barriers, how do we overcome that? So back in the in-person days, we used to have snacks, and there was a space that we could actually communicate with one another. And I think we're gradually moving into making those happen. For now, a lot of them are held on Zoom. Writing and peer group review group workshops also help the grad students actually communicate with their peers and talk about writing in a very open way. And weekly graduate writing workshops and dissertation writers workshops are something that I also got to pay more attention to, especially during my later years when I have to focus on really writing my dissertation and writing like small and big units of papers. So, okay, so the way that you can connect with us is going to writinghub.ucsd.edu, as Avanish put in the chat, and our last set of animations. Thank you so much, ISPO, everyone. Is the links over here. And again, I would highly recommend signing up for one-to-one consultations. And you don't have to have a fully prepared draft, but even one paragraph of abstract that you want to submit to a conference really helps with this consultation, and even like two-page call proposal or dissertation proposal, this is the perfect time to do this. And it really helped me as a international student and as a grad student writer to have someone go through the thought process that I have and how it matches or mismatches with what I write. So I highly recommend it. And now I think I'll pass the ball to Avanish, who will go through the actually engaged teaching hub that we're both in.
Hi, everybody, and thanks a lot, Minju. If you could go to the next slide. This also has some animations, but we can walk through it. So firstly, just wanted to say that both Minju and I are international students, and we work with the Engaged Teaching Hub as graduate teaching consultants. So both the Writing Hub and the Engaged Teaching Hub offer full-time graduate positions. So in lieu of TA, if any of you want to apply, and honestly, it's a great experience, very different from the TA positions because you can design your long-term projects and work with them. So if any of you are interested, you should definitely apply. We have called for applications in the spring. But a bit about what the Engaged Teaching Hub offers. Firstly, next week, we have an annual IA Teaching Symposium, which many of you should have gotten emails about, but if not, I would highly, highly recommend attending it. It's a very quick half-day symposium, and we have a bunch of great workshops. And so that is the first introduction to the kind of services that we offer. But we also offer weekly teaching workshops on a whole range of topics, ranging from teaching what you don't know to how students learn. And they're very useful. And if you want more of a particular workshop, then please feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to respond to demand. That is the wholesale side of things, where we do large events, but we also do one-on-one consultations and classroom observations. So if you say, hey, I am trying to do this in my classroom, I'm wondering if you can help me, then we can come in and we can meet with you for half an hour, 1 hour, or we can come and sit down in your classroom and see what is working and what's not. Because as an instructor or as an IA, you often miss what is happening in your own classroom. So we're just a second set of eyes, not here to judge you or assess you. We are purely here to help you in whatever capacity that you would like for our help. And then we also have an English language program for international instructors. Typically, through your department, you should be informed if you require to take this class, but also you can voluntarily take it if you want to better your English language skills. But also, if you want to meet other international students, this has historically been a place where a lot of international students have gotten to know each other and explore San Diego together. Another course that we offer is the Introduction to College Teaching. This is a quarter-long course, and it is meant for advanced graduate students and postdocs who are preparing to teach. So at UCSD, if you have advanced to candidacy, then you can teach your own course during the summer. And so we offer a bunch of resources in preparation for that, such as the Introduction to College Teaching and another course known as the Course Design Series. And we also have a lot of resources that you can just directly access, and you don't have to reach out to, you don't have to have a consultation or a workshop to access these. So I'm going to drop a link to the welcome packet we have, which has a ton of different resources. You can have this in your back pocket as a resource and come back to it whenever you would like. And if you can go to the next animation. The general goal is to make teaching more efficient, and so that you have to work smarter and not harder, and more effective, so that it's a better experience for both you as a TA and for all of your students, right? And in the next animation, we have a QR code for the, it somehow went away, but okay, perfect. Yeah, we have a QR code for the Fall 2022 IA Symposium. All sessions are on Zoom. You can just click on it and then log in, and yeah, it's going to be a very fun experience. It's much more lighthearted and interactive than the other courses that we have. Now, and if you go to the next animation, sorry, the animations, yeah. So we also have a lot of large scale programs that span over over a quarter, so many years. So one of them is known as the recognition of expertise in equitable and evidence-based teaching. And this is if we recognize that a lot of students put in, a lot of graduate students put in a lot of effort into their teaching and inform themselves. So this is a program to both recognize and also guide you towards understanding how to best present it for the job market. We also have something called the Summer Graduate Teaching Scholars Program, which is a complement to the, as I was saying, once you're advanced to candidacy, you can teach your own course. And we offer a sort of package where we have a lot of different resources to guide you to prepare for it. And you can apply to it and you get additional stipend as well to be part of the program. And lastly, as I said, we are both graduate teaching consultants, Minju and I, and this has been a great experience for both of us. And we have learned a lot about teaching and working with other people. And it's a great collaborative working environment. So would highly recommend applying for it if you see the offer. And just in general, the goal for this is to help you succeed in teaching while at UCSD and after, and also on the job market. So if you want to schedule a consultation with us regarding any job applications, we're happy to do that as well. Perfect. And I'll hand it over to Minju.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Avanish. And now on the next slide, we'll just share a link and also pause here for a few seconds. I think we'll spend maybe 1 or 2 minutes and see if we can read any questions from the chat. And in the meanwhile, we have a QR code here from Engage Teaching Hub. We send like weekly emails on like any free workshops and like any like one-time sessions during the quarter. So please feel free to scan this and save this to yourself. We'll also drop a link in the chat as well. So if you have any questions about teaching, if you ever get very enthusiastic about teaching, even starting as a TA or just like in general is part of research, we're always here for you. And you'll be able to find like fellow graduate students who also have similar concerns, similar thoughts that you have. So it'll be a great place to start talking about teaching and also learn and grow as a teacher as well. Okay, thank you, Avanish. So we have a link to the sign-up newsletter. Okay, and in the interest of time, if anyone can like put question in the chat, we're happy to stay in the chat, and then we'll pass the ball to our next speaker.
Thank you, Minju. Right now, we also have time to take some questions. So if anyone has questions, we can type it in the chat, and I'll just give a few minutes here.
Thank you so much. Also, if I can share one thing, both the Writing Hub and the Engage Teaching Hub also hires not only also provides services for international students, but we also hire international students. I'm an international student myself, and I could work as a graduate teaching consultant, and I could really feel like validated and also really feel belongs, that everyone shares everyone's identities and their backgrounds, and it actually becomes a part of the asset that I can contribute back to the community and also grow as a teacher myself. So if you ever get interested, you can also apply to become a teaching graduate consultant, and it actually replaces a TA requirement in the graduate program. It might differ a little bit by department, but that would be one way to pursue your career related to teaching or education if that's something that you're interested for later. And then please feel free to reach out to us as well. Avanish and I will drop our emails in the Zoom chat, so you can always reach out to us.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I see a question in the Q&A, and Grace from ISPO will type an answer, and I'm going to hand it over to class from the Academic Integrity Office.
Thank you. Yes, I'm pleased to join my colleagues here in welcoming you to this serious community of scholarship. You now take on the responsibility to uphold a tradition of preserving integrity, to keep your intended degree and those who came before you and those who follow you both valuable and respected. Those are qualities that we imagine drew you here in the first place. Next slide, please. Some common terms that we use to describe cheating include academic integrity violation, academic misconduct, and academic dishonesty. Next slide, please. Those actions can result in adverse effects on your GPA or enrollment, failing an assignment or a course, probation, suspension, or dismissal, and it limits what you learn. But my purpose here today is more than just to remind you that cheating is bad. In fact, we believe that integrity is about how we treat others and how we wish to be treated. Next slide, please. In this fast-paced society that we live in, it's ingrained in us to make decisions quickly. And that kind of pressure makes it difficult to always remember that our actions have consequences, not only for ourselves, but for others, sometimes farther beyond who we may imagine. A choice that you make for yourself may also have implications for classmates, colleagues, instructors, supervisors, the university, and yes, even perhaps society at large. So our approach at our approach to academic integrity at UC San Diego is rooted in straightforward values. These are inspired by the International Center for Academic Integrity. Next slide, please. We define integrity as the courage to be honest, respectful, responsible, fair, and trustworthy, even when it's difficult to do so. So integrity means honestly submitting your work for academic credit only if it is a true and accurate reflection of your knowledge and abilities and not that of others. It means responsibly taking steps to ensure that you act accordingly to the standards and expectations of our academic community, even if they differ from the standards and expectations you've been used to in the past. It also means openly and respectfully acknowledging when you've used the words, the ideas, or work of another. Integrity means fairly earning your grades according to the standards and expectations laid out by the university and its professors, rather than following your own ideas of what is okay to do. And it also means doing all of that, even when no one is watching or forcing you to do so. But integrity also means being courageous, to accept a low grade rather than undermine any of these values, or to say no to someone who asks you to violate any of these values, and to interrupt or report actions by others which do not uphold these values. Next slide, please. So here are some common examples of integrity violations. Completing an academic assignment with others without permission, using sources without citations, copying another student's assignment either in part or in total and submitting it as your own work, copying your online quiz or assignment answers from the internet or from anyone, paying or even asking anyone to create either in part or in total an assignment for you. Translating any part of an assignment. And in most cases, you'll want to speak to your instructor about what methods are acceptable. And finally, asking for the solution to an assignment exam problem from a source that is not authorized by the instructor. And more. These are just a few examples, right? So this courage to be honest, respectful, responsible, fair, and trustworthy, even when it is difficult to do so, is demonstrated in the way in which we, take responsibility for knowing what our program requirements are, and, respecting others' time and effort by being fair and being prepared and prompt in our meeting commitments, by truthfully admitting, I don't know, right? And being honest, and admit when we're feeling overwhelmed, right? And also being courageous to seek out support from university resources when we're feeling that way. Next slide, please. So sometimes that can and perhaps, may be difficult to do so. So we have to work at recognizing, when we're feeling that pressure to succeed, the pressure from deadlines or conflicting priorities, social pressures, when we're struggling with academics or language, we must also take care by being aware of our personal stresses and our own perceptions about a class or an instructor, as well as just the regular interruptions to our work or our focus as a result of, our daily life or even world events. Next slide, please. So we've got to be proactive, and that proactiveness takes the form of, knowing the rules and standards, or asking for clarity on what they are, rather than assuming. get familiar with the policy on the integrity of scholarship and the integrity of research policies. Make sure that you fully understand syllabi and assignment prompts. Understand why it matters to know what the rules are and what the expectations are. Reduce temptations and distractions. In other words, how you manage your time, and have a method for recognizing and making ethical decisions, right? And always remember that there are plenty of resources, just like the ones before me here today, that are here and readily available for you to seek out help. Next slide, please. So again, ask your professors or your TA, reach out to the Teaching and Learning Commons. If you have advisors, reach out to them. We have the counseling and psychological services through CAPS, ISPO, and of course, our office. Next slide, please. Please know that we are always here to help, and that we believe, a misstep is simply an opportunity to learn. So we're always happy to provide consultation. We have 9 career staff members, dozens of student staff supporting our various programs, both grad and undergrad, and students, faculty, and staff on our review boards. Right. So there are plenty of ways that you can seek consultation from us, and also be a part of the work that we do. So next slide, please. Just know that, in whichever way you choose to interact with us, please know that we're here to support your success. We are slowly but surely opening up operations in Pepper Canyon Hall, but for now, we do encourage you, if you need to contact us, to use our virtual front desk and consult our website at integrity.ucsd.edu. And with that, I'm happy to open up questions from you all, and know that we wish you the very best.
Thank you, Cross. That was really, really helpful and lots of great information. We'll take a few minutes right now to answer any questions. Feel free to use the question and answer in the chat, and then we can also just answer questions live as well. You can just type in the questions in the Q&A. I'll just give that a few minutes. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is just a quick kind of summary of the questions that have been in the chat. We had a question earlier about are there cubicles in the library just for the TAs? And Timothy from the library says we have group study rooms available for non-TAs, but the cubicles are meant for teaching purposes. And then I added a bit about for TA-specific work areas, your department will usually have designated spaces and offices for your TA work, but they might not. I know that I'm speaking for my department in music, and we do have separate spaces for TA work. But if you do need to do some quiet grading or some planning, you can also use the library floors. And Timothy, please feel free to add to that. From my own experience, I know that just the floors, that the higher you go, the more quiet it is. And if I want to do something really like just intense focused work, I usually go to the top floors.
Yeah, so just to highlight that a little bit. So in particular, the TAs or the consultation cubes are on the 2nd floor of Geisel Library in the East Wing, which is a little bit of a party, let's say. It's a collaborative study wing, and yeah, a lot of students are there. It's loud. It can be a bit of a party, right? So those are meant for TA purposes, and a lot of times we realize those that are TAing for the writing programs do not have their own space, so they would be the ones who would book them. But if you're not part of the writing programs, feel free to do it as well. Then for spaces coming in, we have like 44, I think, group study rooms available in both the spanning Geisel Library and the Wong Avery Library, which is on the south end of campus, in the medical campus. Those are available 2 weeks in advance for 3 hours at a time. So feel free to do those to reserve those as well. But be aware that you're fighting the rest of campus on those, so they get busy. In Geisel in particular, as you go up the tower, it gets significantly more quiet. So the 1st and 2nd floor are our group study floors. They're kind of a party. But as you go up the tower, yeah, they'll get mad at you for walking too loud if you are on the 8th floor, which is the top floor. So everyone just kind of figures out where they want to study and what kind of level of quiet is appropriate for them. So yeah, if you don't have TA space in your department, feel free to use the libraries. If you're looking for group study space, the library has that available for you. If you're looking for group study rooms, kind of private, be aware that they fill up fast, but we do have those. And then if you're looking for individual silent study space as well, the library has that. The Wong Avery Library, which is a host of biomedical collections, but it's available for everybody to use, is on the quieter end of things. And a lot of the undergraduates do not use the Wong Avery Library. They think it's a little bit too quiet for them. So if you're looking for quiet, that's a good area.
For the Wong Avery Library, is that, you said it was in the biomedical side of campus?
Yeah, it's in the medical campus. So the road that leads into the library, we call it Library Walk. And you exit Library Walk, you go past Target, you go past Center Hall, and you cross the street, and it's in that area. Cross Genesee? Gilman, cross Gilman.
Okay, no, thank you. That's, as a graduate student, I was not aware that, I thought it was like only for medical students. So I'm like,
No, yeah, it's available for everybody. It hosts the medical collections, so that's why people think it's just for medical students, but it is not. And in there, we have a graduate student lounge that's available 24/7. You're going to have to apply to that, but that's available for you as well. And you can get information from that on the library website.
Okay, and is there a cafe in the Wong Avery Libraries? I know that there is a cafe available in the Geisel Library. So if like it gets too hot or too cold and you don't want to run to Starbucks, there is an actual, like, I think it was Audrey's. Is it Audrey's Cafe there?
Yeah, so Audrey's Cafe is in Geisel. There is not a cafe in the Wong Avery Library, but Club Med is pretty close. So a lot of people go to Club Med. And food and drink are welcome in both library buildings. We just ask that you cover and not like, don't bring a microwave to the libraries.
When you say food in library, are we actually, I thought it was only, as a grad student, I'm just asking, I thought it was only like spill-proof containers for drinks, because I don't think food is like food is not allowed on the like other floors beyond the
food is allowed.
Oh, okay.
Feel free to bring food in. We ask that you kind of clean up after yourselves, but we have had pizza deliveries to the library, people calling Domino's. Yeah. So food is allowed. Just clean up after yourselves. Don't leave it a mess.
Wow. Okay. Pizza is available. It's okay to eat pizza in the library. Like, that is news to me, and that is wonderful news. But yes.
A lot of Panda Express comes in. Yeah.
I will not bring a microwave. And I will tell my friends at my department.
We ask no small appliances. I know at other campuses they have issues with the students bringing in rice cookers during finals week, and please.
Wow. Okay, I did not. Okay. Well, that will be recorded in the webinar. For that. The next question that we had was, can we get a summary list of all the links in email? And the answer is that if you would like to email ISPO at iprograms@ucsd.edu with that question, we would be happy to email you all the links. And then we have one question about someone, Elena said, that's very interesting. If I have teaching experience in my past, will this be an advantage to start here as TA? I'm also a graduate international student. Should I first discuss with the advisor of my program, and are all graduate students eligible to apply? And Minju very, very articulately typed an answer. Did you want to go just give a brief like summary of the answer that you typed out?
Yeah, sure, Jenna. Thank you so much for passing the mic. Yeah, so thank you for your question, Elena. So in terms of TA ships from your department, you might want to check in with your graduate coordinator in your department. I think in the following 2 weeks, there will be orientation from each department. And sometimes some departments have the students paid through the department, meaning that they can work with any advisors. Some go on rotation. So they're all TA shifts might differ if that's the source of the graduate support that you're getting. And that's the case in psychology department where I am. So yes, please talk to your graduate coordinator. But once there's a call for the graduate teaching consultant, if you get to accept the position after all the interviews and the process, then they will be communicating with your department about TA support. So that means that you wouldn't have to TA for your AI position for the quarter that you're working as a graduate teaching consultant. So this is a great way to build your CV if you're interested in like more like consulting or like focus groups and those soft skills that might drive you to other parts of industry like UX researcher, or for education, areas related to education and pedagogy. Then it's a really great way to diversify and build your strong CV toward that areas.
And a follow-up question with that, Minju. So for if I am part of this, does that count towards my TA appointments? I know that as international students, if I do not have a TA appointment, then my tuition does not get waived in my department. So I want to just double check with you on that.
Yes, thank you so much for asking. So yes, as international students, we have some limitations and requirements that we have to meet for TA shifts. So I think we have to be employed up to like 50% for the regular quarters. And on summer, you can top up that up to like 75%. But so for my understanding is that yes, it replaces the TA requirement, but only in the full academic quarters and up to 6th year, I believe. So I think 7th year actually up to 5th year. And for 6th years and 7th years, the requirements might differ from your department, and you might have limitations on how many quarters you can extend because the TA shift becomes into something different. And it becomes a little bit more complicated with financial support. So yes, it replaces DTA shift requirements during the regular quarters, but only during the first 5 years, I believe. So please make sure that you get to communicate with your department coordinator once you get it to the later years. Yeah, I hope, did I answer your question, Janet?
Oh, no, yes, that was really, really helpful because I am only clear on things that with my department, but it's really helpful to hear you speak about other departments and your experiences. At this point, I don't see any questions that are coming up in the Q&A, but feel free to type questions in the Q&A. And I wanted to ask the panelists that are international students to kind of give a little, kind of share their own experiences as an international graduate student, kind of what your experiences have been like, and any kind of like tips that you would like to give to our attendees. And I can popcorn it to Sai, if you would like to start. And then you can popcorn it to someone else afterwards.
Sure. I just quickly wanted to share that please check out CAPS, the psychological services on campus. It's really game changing, and they do give you referrals to see a therapist if you do want to see someone on a weekly basis, but also they have like counselors available on campus. So please make use of that opportunity. That's one thing for sure. And if you haven't already, please check out UCSD Rec Center for a lot of activity options like the Active Tritons. There's a lot of classes ranging from Zumba, spin classes, archery, swimming, tennis. There's so many options. All of this is free, and you just have to sign up. There's so many fun activities constantly happening on campus, but I think these two I have really taken a lot of advantage of, and I think they've tremendously helped me. And I would highly encourage everybody to check them out as well.
Thank you, Sai. Oh, sorry. Did you have any more tips on academic?
No, I think these were the two things that really tremendously helped me. But sure, that was it.
I see Minju on the screen. Minju, would you like to go next?
Cool. Thanks, Janet. So to also add one more non-academic one, if you happen to be a if you happen to have your family here and if you happen to have kids, there are some like free music classes like that happens once a month or twice a month for the family. So it's a great place for international students to like find other international students and also like find things in common and talk about it. So I'll drop a link that you can email to sign up for it. It's called Mommy, Daddy, and Me, and it's actually one of the programs under IFSO. So it's like I think it is International Office for Faculties and Staff, like scholars. So I'll drop that link in there. And in terms of academic support, there are some classes in UCSD Extension that supports your writing. And there's different levels of classes, but there's one level that's really about like professional academic writing. So it was a once a week class. It was within campus. So I really benefited from that class. And also along with the writing consultations, that was one-to-one. So highly recommended, and it will boost up your ego as a writer. And also shout out to Engage Teaching Hub. So there are so many events that you might find your soul towards teaching, or even just a fun way to share what you know with undergrad students who might be future scholars in your field. So please always email me for any questions.
Oh, thank you, Minju. I see a question here on the Summer Graduate Teaching Scholar Program. So I'm going to put in, I'm interested in the Summer Graduate Teaching Scholars Program. What year do students usually participate in the program? And is the idea that you have to work with a faculty mentor and identify a course you can want to teach and propose it before getting admitted to the program? And I open that question to all the panelists, but I think this was geared towards Minju. You can also correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janet. So the only thing that you might have checked in with is that you have advanced or you are about to advance, so you're a few months prior to being advanced to candidacy, and this should be your very first class that you're teaching as an instructor of record. So we can talk about what that means later, but yes. So you will get assigned to a faculty mentor of your choice. Usually I find someone who's in a similar field in my department. It could be my direct research advisor, or it could be a teaching faculty. So you'll have, and they also get like some awards, and you also get extra money on top of just teaching through getting into this program. So it's actually win-win for both the faculty member and yourself as well. So yes, so you will have to find a faculty mentor. You will have to submit like a statement of purpose or a cover letter and with your resume. But it doesn't have, you don't have to have a fancy teaching experience. Yes, it definitely benefits if you have some, but you can also elaborate on your experience based on your teaching as a TA-ship, like you work as a TA, or your experience as an undergrad as a student learner as well. And let me see if I addressed everything in the question. Yes, and if you get into this program, what you will go through is you have 2 classes. You have to take 2 courses from Engage Teaching Hub. One is Introduction to College and the college teaching, and the other one is more about building the syllabus itself, so course design. So after those 2 classes, you'll be teaching in the following summer, either summer session 1 or 2 for the class that you have been assigned to. And during that summer, we also do observations. We come to your class, we get to sit in and we get to discuss it later about like what went really well. And if you want to like brainstorm on what you want to develop on, then we can also do that. And we have weekly sessions where we can come and rant about teaching, like students complain about grades. I don't know how to make them not fall asleep. So those really fun topics. So really highly recommended. So again, going back to your question, yes, you have to apply it around when you become a PhD candidate, and it should be your first class that you're teaching.
Thank you. And I see that there was one follow-up question about where can we find more information about the weekly writing class that you've mentioned. I don't know if someone's already dropped it into the chat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think there are some links in the chat, but yeah, I can definitely go about it again. So I'll drop the links to the list of workshops that the Writing Hub has. I think currently they're in transition from being on Zoom to in person. So I think there are more information to be updated, but I will drop a link. And there, for the writing Zoom sessions, there are some times that are specified and you have to sign up for them, and they will provide you for the Zoom links. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I just have like 2 very short questions, one for Tim and one for class. For Tim, I just wanted to ask, I think you maybe touched upon, did you talk about interlibrary loans? Because I think that was that has been a really important academic resource for me to work through acquiring materials that are not available in the library. And if you have already addressed it, I apologize, but that was just something that I have used very often as a grad student preparing for my qualifying exams.
Yeah, so I touched on it briefly, but yeah, we can go much more in detail. So as a UC San Diego student, you have access to the entire UC collection, which is items at Berkeley or items at UCLA or Irvine, wherever. So in our main library catalog, UC Library Search, we contain all the holdings of all 10 campuses. So if you see an item there that we don't own, you can easily request that item to be sent to campus. If an item exists outside of the system, we can have that sent in too, but the borrowing restrictions might be a little bit different. There might be a shorter term loan for those. So that is also available in UC Library Search. That also works with articles. So if we don't subscribe to a certain journal, we can easily get you a copy through interlibrary loan. And that's all going to be associated with your Active Directory login. So UC Library Search is going to be the main tool that you use. And there's going to be a request button for items to be sent to campus or to be interlibrary loaned. We also are a library that does not have like fun reading, good, like, recent fiction. We don't really have those items. So we belong to a system called Circuit, and you can find this on the library homepage. So if you're looking for a recent fiction book, we don't really have that available. But Circuit is the local UC San Diego, or the local San Diego collections. So the San Diego Public Library, the County Library, and University of San Diego and SDSU. So we can have those items paged in as well. So if you're looking for an item that for fun reading, that's the tool you want to use.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to when I will also have time for fun reading. I did not know that about the library. Oh, okay. I'm just taking a look at the time, and we have about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to move into our survey and our final slides. But please feel free to type in the questions in the Q&A as things come up, and you can always contact us afterwards through our email for any further questions. I see that there's one question here in the chat. I will ask one of the panelists to type an answer to it while I move through the slides. So with again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at icontact.ucsd.edu. I think there's also you can also contact us through the email on our website, and that we always welcome questions and feedback on our programming and our sessions. And here we would very much appreciate it if you can use your phone or try to take a screenshot of this to do our survey. And Sai has very kindly dropped in the survey link, and Grace has dropped in the website link. And I wanted to just give a few minutes to see if there's any more questions before we close up with the session. Oh, there we go. The email is the inewstudent@ucsd.edu. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you to all the panelists for sharing all this wonderful information. As an international graduate student, all your offices have been invaluable to my work and my studies here at UCSD. So I'm very grateful for all the work that you do. And on behalf of the other current international students, thank you so much for everything that you do. At this point, there's also upcoming sessions for graduate students. There's one coming up in lunchtime today for Lunch and Learn, getting involved as a graduate student. And also please check out the iEvents calendar for other things that are related to graduate studies as an international student. And with that, I wanted to, Grace, do you have any more things that you would like to add before we close out our session?
I just think there are a couple more slides about like meetups and different engagement opportunities.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this is other things that we are providing as the iOrientation. We have our regional group meetup and interest group meetup. So these are opportunities for you to meet other international graduate students or international students either through a geographic area, or through interest. So we have things like food and photography and hiking and other really fun things that are related to school, outside and inside the classroom, that will help you support your time here. Let's see the next slide. And this is also this is what the iEvents calendar look like. So if you were to go on the orientation site or go through UCSD or go through iEvents.ucsd.edu, you will see that there is a calendar that shows you can list it by pinboard, agenda, or monthly programming. We highly encourage you to come check in on this. And there's lots of fun things that are happening during orientation week, but there's also lots of fun things happening through the year. And I think that is the last. Yes. So yes, please visit iOrientation UCSD for other sessions, and visit iUpdates for the most up-to-date information from ISPO, but also you will sign up and get a weekly newsletter. And there is also Zoom in advising hours. And last but not least, we are also on social media. And I think that was the last slide, Grace. I think that was, yep. Was there anything else you would like to add, Grace, before we wrap up?
No, I think that should be it. But I just want to thank again all of our presenters. There are so many people in place to really support you during your journey here at UC San Diego. And I really hope that you all take advantage of all the incredible resources that are offered. I feel like sometimes it's even hard to know how many resources there are, but the only way that folks can get to know about those resources is to ask questions. And so I think folks have been really generous in sharing their contact information. So please do reach out. Even if, let's say, ISPO doesn't have the answer, we're really committed to connecting you to folks who do have the answer. And so we're really excited to welcome you to UC San Diego. We're confident in your academic journey here. And with that, thank you to all of my co-presenters, really our partners in this work, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.